Monster Hunter Wilds is a game on PC where I am genuinely confused at the performance for the visual quality that I am seeing on screen. This is true on a high-spec
me
PC,
too, man.
but it is...
I played the beta and it was literally unplayable. And it looked like 5 times as worse as that. It looked like a PS2 game. Actually, it kind of looked worse. And I got like 40 FPS on average.
Is crucially the case on a lower spec PC where on first contact I genuinely cannot advise.
I mean, this
buying
looks great in comparison,
on a lower
honestly.
GPU or a GPU with 8 gigabytes of VRAM. Surface level impressions though when loading up the game for the first time seemed positive. There is a long shader pre-compilation step which took around 6 minutes on a 9800X3D and more than 13 minutes on a Ryzen 5 3600. I had a similar positive impression when looking in the graphical menu. I saw a lot of options here to control things in a fine-grained way with a VRAM meter, preview images for a number of the options, and even little pips which tell you which aspect of your PC is most affected by the option in question.
Pretty good.
So CPU, GPU, or VRAM. Those things seemed nice on the surface, but another surface level thing gave me pause when I launched the game. On the first start, the game insists that you turn on frame generation before it even starts with this pop-up. This is the case, even though the developers have no clue about your performance level that you can actually muster. As a reminder, NVIDIA or AMD would never advise you to use frame generation with low base frame rates like 30 FPS, as it usually produces poor experiences.
To be fair though, during the presentation, NVIDIA's presentation, they showed Cyberpunk 2077 with all of the frame gen bullshit, and the base frame rate was 28. They do not recommend it, but still they use it as an example to show off like, oh, it can handle the most demanding games. Oh, of course it can. Look at this, 120 FPS. And then like as soon as combat begins and your base FPS goes to like 22, the actual generated frame rates drop like 4-fold or 5-fold. So, I mean, NVIDIA has used under 30 FPS as an example of how great their new GPUs are.
Yet this pop-up there shows that the developers are saying, turn it on, regardless of actual performance. That is definitely bad design. If you click no here, the game further insists that you can turn it on in the options menu, reminding you again. Whatever their intent is here to
remind you like, please turn it on. Do not look at the game without frame gen, please.
Me as a tech reviewer, this insistence paints a poor potential picture for the game's base performance.
Bro, why does it look so good for him? For me, they were like pixelated.
After all the pop-ups, I played like any other casual user, and I used the game's default settings that it detected and set DLSS
it looks good. It looks okay.
1440p on an RTX 4060 and started my adventure. I immediately could tell though that something was just not right. Without even mentioning performance,
he's playing Ryzen 5 3600 RTX 4060, 1440p DLSS balanced high, plus ray tracing off, high texture. How the fuck can he do that? How the fuck does he do it?
I could see that the textures in the game were confusingly poor. So many shots had textures like this that were just baffling.
That texture was the entirety of the game for me. Like everything was like that.
Bafflingly low resolution. I really think this almost looks PS3 level here. And so
almost PS3 level? Bro, it's PS2.
All of the textures like this character's coat, even though it's directly in front of the camera, look straight up wrong. I presume the coat here is supposed to be white color, but the poorly configured texture compression maybe has made it into a multicolored one with obvious mosaic artifacting. When I finally got character control after the long-winded intro, I was greeted by big stutters.
Wait, did you see that? Wait, hold up. What the fuck is that? This is really bad. And whoop.
Each and every time I turned the camera while using the RTX 4060 at the default high settings at 1440p DLSS balance mode. Along with the stutters, it is...
Bro, and it's not even demanding, like, the environment isn't even demanding. Look at this. The desert is simply just a color palette, nothing else. Look at this. Half the screen is just a color palette. It's the same color palette. And it's barely managing 60 FPS. Being like idle, pretty much, doing nothing. With a Ryzen 7 9800X 3D?
It's quite easy to see how textures were taking a while to load in after
and it drops
each camera turn.
under
so
60 when it moves.
And ran bad on the default high settings with no ray tracing on. As a reminder, these are the settings that the game defaulted to after detecting my hardware. Having tested PC games for so long, I know such strange frame time behavior when turning the camera can often have to do with aspects of streaming things into VRAM. Sometimes textures. With that learned experience in mind, I went into the menu to tweak things down when I saw another thing which gave me pause again. The game's high textures, which look poor as I just showed, are definitely not the highest at least. The highest require a separate DLC download that will come out when the game is released on release.
What the fuck? This setting can be selected if the DLC high resolution texture pack has been downloaded? So they're not even done with the game. The game isn't even finished.
Release day. So at least there is a potentially better visual experience for those with more GPU memory. The issue with this though is that looking in the menu at this VRAM meter here, it was...
Wait, what? High resolution texture pack. Oh wait, so this DLC does exist. Okay. All right. But still, what the hell? What?
Wasn't showing me any sort of warning or telling me that VRAM was in fact an issue. It was showing everything healthily below the yellow and red bars. So the VRAM meter and the game itself thinks everything should...
Well, I mean, everything's fine because you're in menu, but as soon as you go out of the menu, it ramps up to like threefold or fourfold this. Probably fourfold. If I would guess this number...
Be fine.
Sorry. If I would guess, I would probably say this number would fourfold when it goes out of the menu.
At the settings it defaulted to. Yet just moving the camera is causing big stutters, and the textures are very poor, with obvious pop-in. The high textures in Monster Hunter Wilds don't just look poor because I was playing the game on an 8GB GPU. Even loading up the game on an RTX 4070 with 12GB of VRAM shows that the high textures are just the same. They're just poor looking overall. Oof. All the quality issues are there that I saw on an RTX 4060 with 8GB. Still, I'm a performance reviewer, so I know what I am doing. Taking down the texture settings to...
You know, this is most likely... Like, yes, it is bad optimization, but if you were to blame it on the specs, then it's most likely RAM. So VRAM or just RAM. Probably VRAM.
The medium got rid of the stutters while turning the camera on the RTX 4060 at least.
Probably need to like 20.
That revealed two other big issues with the game's technical quality. One was that the medium textures are just awful anywhere you look. To avoid stuttering on an 8K...
Bro, if that's PS3 level... Honestly, that looks worse than Skyrim. And that's a 14-year-old game. I mean, I still remember it at launch, without any mods. That's pretty much how it looked like, in some cases. In some cases. Not all of them. Sometimes it looked better.
Gigabyte GPU, you have to essentially downgrade textures to look more like stuttering on an...
Bro, not even... I mean, not just the wheel. Look at that fucking lizard. It looks awful. Jesus Christ. And it looks so out of place. Look at this guy. He looks so out of place because he's the only one that looks somewhat decent. Him and his cat. And the rest is just like god awful.
8GB GPU, you have to essentially downgrade textures to look more like something you'd see in a game from the...
Man, okay, honestly, everything looks so bad here. What is going on with your finger here? Look at this. Is this frame gen doing its work? Must be.
Early 2000s. Seriously, just look at these textures. I'm kind of at awe that this is...
Oh! Look at that! Oh my god, that's awful. Look at this. It's such a mismatch. Holy fuck. That's awful.
Quality required to make an 8GB GPU not stutter in what is essentially an extra quality required to make an 8GB GPU not stutter in what is essentially
8GB? I mean, look, if you have an 8GB GPU, then you're not going to be able to play this game because it is so badly optimized that the minimum requirement is probably 16. I'm not even kidding. Should we check? Monster Hunter Wilds. Mixed reviews. Yeah, that's great. Ugh. Where are the specs? Give me specs. Minimum requirements. AMD Ryzen 5 3600. I don't believe that for a second. Anyways, 16 gigs of RAM is bare minimum, of course. GTX 1660, 6 gigs RAM. That is not true. AMD Radeon 5500 XT 8 gigs. I mean, you can play it, but it's definitely not going to be smooth and it's definitely not going to look good. See, 75 gigabyte available space. yeah. And this is for 1080p, upscaled from 720 at 30 FPS under the lowest graphics setting. Yeah, okay. Recommended. Let's see the recommended. AMD Ryzen 5. What? The recommending. Okay. RTX 2060, 8 gigs. RX 6600, 8 gigs. Look, that is not true. I have an RX 6650 XT, 8 gigs, of course. It does not run this game. It does not. It runs it at 30 FPS. Like, probably, yeah, 30 FPS, but it looks awful. Let's see, SSD required, expect to run at 1080p, 60 FPS, with frame generation enabled. With frame generation enabled! Oh my god! Oh my god! That's bad. That's really bad. Bro, I'm curious. 438,000. 24-hour peak, pretty good. Let's see, 1 week. Got that good peak here. Got the highest peak there. Pretty much matched it the following day, which is good. And the day after, almost matched it. So I mean, I guess it's going well. I guess. I mean, how was Baldur's Gate during its release? Wasn't it similar? Like not 1.4 million, but wait, it got released right here. That doesn't seem right. Did it just keep those numbers for a week straight? I don't believe that. But anyways, huge success, of course. I don't know, I mean, I hope they resolve the issue. It's just a really stupid issue. I don't know. If it keeps being like that, I don't think people are going to be playing it for much longer. I mean, yes, some people will play it, but it'll probably go down very fast. I'm thinking like after this month, it will probably be down to like 100k. If they don't resolve the issue, by the way. Right? Because half the people that bought the game are unhappy. That's half of them right there. Just gone. If it doesn't get resolved, most of them are probably not going to play it. Or get a refund or something. I don't know. They'd probably get a refund. I would. But I was smart enough not to buy it. Because I tried the beta. It performed awfully. It sucked ass. And it was like a month before release or 2 weeks or something. And I was like, nah, they're not going to change this. They're not going to solve this issue. Not before release. There's no way. But yeah, I want to try. I want to see these things that I saved. This one, for example. Look. That's how it looked for me. That's how it looked for me. Look at this. So bad. So bad. Okay, this one. That's the last one. Let's see. Oh Oh. I mean, you can already see it here. It looks awful. Look at this. This looks bad. Oh. What is that? What are these things here? It looks so bad. It looks like a piece of shit. He has a strip going though.
Oh my god, look at
Got it.
Holy shit!
Yo,
that's PS1!
What is this texture?
That's PS1!
The polygons! Oh my god!
What are these creatures? Straight from Minecraft.
I don't touch this thing.
They're like cows from Minecraft, but they look worse. Jesus Christ. Alright. I want to check the comments here on this one. Frame gen should have been used as a tool, user tool, not a crutch for devs to skip out on optimization. True. Putting the words with frame generation in the minimum spec requirement should be against. Yeah, yes, that is true. Turning the camera rapidly caused heavy frame rate drops. Can someone please explain to me why wish it was better is a hot take? Bad thing about brute forcing bad performance is we are essentially wasting power or electricity for something that should require less. I mean, I guess. Yeah. We used to upgrade our PCs to handle better graphics, now we upgrade our PCs to handle dog shit optimization. I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if the maximum, if the max settings for Monster Hunter Wilds would require like 20 gigs of RAM. And VRAM, by the way. Guys, what do you think about this? I would love to hear it in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe. It helps out a lot, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.